Welcome back to the center of it all. Today Mel is making a fun recipe that will get you ready for spring. And if you think nachos are just a snack, then you haven't tried Mel's loaded sheet pan nachos.
When the hankering for nachos hit, I know, nobody wants to wait any longer than the time it takes to preheat the oven, open the pantry, and pop a beer. Slow down. Join me right here at the counter today while I show you how to build better nachos. Nacho Mama's fully loaded sheet pan nachos. All nachos start with tortilla chips, and while a bag of restaurant-style chips will work just fine, if you take the time to fry fresh corn tortillas, it's going to take your nachos over the top. And it only took me 9 minutes to fry all of these chips in 3 batches of 3 minutes each. The best nachos have a perfect ratio of cheese and toppings to chips. And the only way to accomplish that is to increase the surface area. Instead of bunching them all up in a casserole, spread them all out on a sheet pan. And if you line the sheet pan with aluminum foil and parchment, you're not going to have any cleanup either. I'm just going to start putting all of my freshly fried corn tortilla chips on this pan. It's quite all right if they overlap and double up slightly. It's 28 to 30 fresh corn tortillas is what I fried. That's probably a little more than what I need. Make sure you get them into all the corners. Don't miss any spots. That looks great. Now it's time to put our toppings on. I'm going to start by putting some slightly warm queso dip. Homemade or store-bought is just fine. This is kind of the glue that's going to hold all of our toppings in place. And typically, you're going to need about 1.5 to 2 cups, which is about 1 jar, maybe a little bit more, depending on the size of the jar you buy. Just want to drizzle. Drop all this down. Take your time with it. Go back and forth the other way. Looks wonderful already. That's 1.5 cups, and I think that's just about enough. So we'll stop there. Now you're going to need your ground meat or your taco filling. This is homemade, and I already made it for you on the episode where we made the all-American beef tacos. I just thawed this and heated it up this morning. And you're going to take the time to just dollop this all over the top. And it said that nachos actually did come onto the scene in the 1940s in New Mexico when some soldiers wandered into an eatery, and the cook presented them with a big tray of what they named nachos as a complimentary appetizer. And what he had done was he had taken a pan of dried tortillas and topped them with some cheese and pickled jalapenos. And so nachos were born. The news spread fast. And the toppings came along as the dish spread across the country. So that's about 3 cups that we put on top of here. Now I have a 12-ounce jar of pickled jalapenos that have been really well drained, and I did take the time to drain the jalapenos on some paper towels. You don't want to put them wet on top of the nachos. I probably could mention that you could use, you have chili con carne. That would make a great topping in place of the taco meat as well. That's looking spicy. Next, I've got a 15-ounce can of black beans that have been rinsed and again dried on paper towels. You don't just want to dump them out and put wet beans all over the top. You don't like beans, you don't like black beans, skip them, put something else in. Or you don't like black beans, dollop some refried beans on in place of them. Next, I've got a 15-ounce can of corn kernels that's been drained, well drained. And in the summer, if I have fresh sweet corn, I shave it right off the cob and I put fresh corn kernels on. You can make nachos as homemade or store-bought as you want. Everybody's going to love them, no matter what you do. And last but not least, before they go in the oven, we've got 8 ounces of jalapeno jack cheddar cheese. Now it's time to pick up this pan and pop them in a 375-degree oven for about 6 to 8 minutes. While our nachos are baking in the oven, let's chat about the finishing touches. And my favorites are pico de gallo, or salsa fresca, Mexican crema, or sour cream, avocado crema, or guacamole, and thinly sliced scallions. In the case of both of the cremas, all I did was thin them to a drizzly consistency by adding a little bit of the liquid that I drained out of the jalapeno peppers. Place the pan on the table and get out the paper plates and napkins. Snack your way from the outside of the pan straight into the center and savor the perfect ratio of toppings and cheese to chips. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website.
The best thing about nachos is you can make them however you want, you can put whatever you want on them, and Mel definitely loaded up these nachos. I can't wait to try them. But first, when we come back, we'll be taking a look at activities for St. Patrick's Day that are going on around Center County.